All right, next up, we're going to take up Senate Bill 32. I'm gonna take the table for this one.
Mr. Chairman, on Senate Bill 32.
Allow me to get organized.
With a slew of green cards and a lot of emails that came in on this bill, asking us to vote yes.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Senate Bill 32 is a prenatal bereavement bill. This bill came about when a constituent of mine, Christy Lamar, who's here with me today, reached out about a bill that Texas had recently passed called Everly's Law. The purpose of the bill is to establish a perinatal bereavement initiative within LDH's Office of Women and Community Health to assist hospitals in obtaining cooling beds and bereavement training to support families who have lost their babies. There is an amendment that I'd like to adopt to put the bill in its proper posture early on. I believe it's 653.
It is.
They do a few different things. They add clarification regarding the cooling beds and education for hospital staff, expand the initiative to include hospitals with NICUs as well as hospitals with maternity units. And they named the bill Angel's Law in honor of Christy's daughter and all the babies that we know are angels in heaven. This is obviously a very sensitive subject. I think this bill, as I said yesterday when I was describing it, is a bill on compassion. And with that, I'll turn it over to Kristi to let her tell her story.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to speak today. My name is Christy Lamar-Bordelon. I'm a proud resident of the great state of Louisiana. I serve as a bereavement nurse navigator for Women and Children's Services, where I have the privilege of walking alongside families experiencing miscarriage, stillbirth, and infant death. While the work I do is heavy, it is an honor. I help families navigate some of the most painful moments of their lives. Most parents never imagine the possibility of losing their baby. Our hopes and dreams for the future are often wrapped in that pregnancy. When the pregnancy does not end with taking a baby home, the grief is profound. Research shows that how hospital staff care for these families during these moments can significantly impact their healing process, either positive or negative. In traumatic situations, our brains often remember the smallest details. Because of this, it's essential that healthcare providers are equipped with the right tools and training to care for these families with compassion when the worst happens. Current data shows that about 1 in 4 pregnancies end in miscarriage, and approximately 21,000 stillbirths happen in the United States every year. We also know that disadvantaged communities or areas with limited health care and maternity access, these numbers are much greater. What we've done in the past when we didn't have what I'm asking for is we've told families, you have 2 or 3 hours to meet this baby. Or even worse, we've said, here's some ice packs to surround your baby, and the dignity changes when we have to constantly dry off that baby so that you can hold your baby. One way we can better support families is through the use of infant cooling devices, which give families the gift of time. There are 2 major manufacturers of these devices. This is what they look like: the cooling cot and the caring cradle. These devices are simple to use and allow families to spend more meaningful time with their baby. Instead of being limited to just a few hours, families may have days with their child when these devices are used properly. In labor and delivery, you need to remember, though, that there are always 2 patients, both the mother and the baby. If a mother has experienced a difficult delivery, general anesthesia, or significant physical pain, she may need time to recover before she's able to be present with that baby. Without these devices, families are being told they only have a few hours. That can mean asking a mother to wake up from anesthesia or physical exhaustion to say goodbye when she's not ready. These devices allow families the space and time they need to process what has happened. I understand that there's a cost associated with the purchase of these devices, but we have many foundations that are ready and willing to help the state of Louisiana to put a device in every single hospital. They also allow families to create meaningful memories with their babies, such as take photographs, make handprints, footprints, and allowing other loved ones to come in and meet that baby. Today, I'm asking you to empower healthcare facilities across Louisiana to provide access to infant cooling devices, train staff to properly use them, train that same staff to compassionate bereavement care, and ensure families receive information about support resources when they leave the hospital. For families living in smaller communities where in-person counseling may not be available, there are also trusted websites and national support lines that support mental health. By supporting SB 32, you are helping ensure that families facing unimaginable loss are treated with dignity, compassion, and respect during one of the most difficult moments of their life. Thank you. I've also brought with me Jamie Strahl. She has an amazing story of her sweet daughter, Heidi, and she would like to share her amazing story with us.
Thank you. Hi. My name is Jamie Strahl, and I'm the mother of Heidi Michelle Strahl. Heidi was born on May 4th, 2024, and died during childbirth. The only reason I was able to spend 2 days holding my daughter is because the hospital had a cooling cot, and today I'm here to ask that every family in Louisiana be given that same time. On May 4th, 2024, my life changed forever. I was 39 weeks pregnant and about to give birth to our firstborn baby. I was having contractions all day, and then my water broke, and I knew I would soon meet my baby. I had everything ready. The crib was ready, the car seat was ready, I was ready. My husband and I decided to keep our gender a surprise. I had imagined that over and over in my head. I pictured my husband being the one to tell me if I had a little girl named Heidi or a little boy named James. I remember every detail of my labor. Everything seemed so normal. It was the middle of the night and I was exhausted, but the excitement of knowing I would soon meet my baby and hear my baby's first cry kept me awake. I was told I would be pushing soon and the doctor was on his way. 20 minutes later, my doctor arrived and I was told to push. 10 minutes later, my baby was born and I was full of excitement. But the room was silent. The nursery nurse handed me my baby and I was confused. Why isn't my baby moving? Why isn't my baby making a sound? I handed my baby back to my nurse and I looked at my doctor and he was so upset but never said a word. Minutes later, a neonatologist calmly walked in the room and began to try to resuscitate Heidi. I remember lying there and thinking this couldn't be real. Was my baby dead? How could this happen? It was like I was watching a movie, except it was my life. About 20 minutes later, a nurse walked over to my husband and me and said the words I will never forget. I am sorry, but she didn't make it. And that was the moment I learned that my baby was my sweet Heidi. She was wrapped in a blanket and she was perfect. I was shaking and in complete shock. Everything had been so normal. As far as I knew, my baby had been doing just fine. How could she have been alive when I was pushing, but now gone in my arms? My husband and I didn't know what to do. He stepped out of the room to call our parents and ask them to come to the hospital. I will never forget the moment he made that call. I could hear him speaking to my mom on the phone, and his voice sounded completely different. It was the sound of someone whose world had just shattered. He said, "Can you guys come to the hospital?" And there was a moment of silence, and then he said the words no parent should ever have to say. Heidi died during childbirth. I was still holding Heidi when they wheeled me into a different room. My nurse had me walk into the bathroom and immediately began explaining to me how to stop my milk from coming in. I remember thinking how strange it all was. My body didn't know that my baby had died. Our parents arrived, and then they held Heidi, and I was still in shock. I didn't know what to do or what to say. Part of me wondered if I was still dreaming. And then my mother's instinct came in. I needed to hold my daughter. But only after a few hours, her body already begun to change, and her hands were becoming stiff. And I know this may become sound a little bit alarming for everybody and even morbid, but it is the reality parents face in these moments. Our bodies change after death. I truly didn't know what this meant until it was happening right in front of me with my own daughter. When the nursing shift changed, our new nurse asked if I wanted a photograph of Heidi and have a photographer come. I immediately said yes. I asked if they could hurry. Heidi's hands were getting stiffer and stiffer, and I didn't want her body to change anymore. I had only just met her. Shortly after, we were told that we would be moving into a different room and I would have a cot for Heidi. At this time, I didn't understand what that meant. But when they wheeled me into a different room, I saw it. It was a cooling cot. I quickly learned that this cot was going to give me something I desperately needed: time. Time for the photographer to arrive, time for the family to come and meet her, time for me to hold my daughter just a little bit longer. Once Heidi was placed in a cooling cot, her body stopped changing, and it felt like time had paused. My sister was in Dallas and immediately flew to Louisiana. Without that cooling cot, she would have never met Heidi. Because we had kept the gender a surprise, we didn't even have the right clothes for her. I had always imagined that if our baby were a girl, I would have time to shop for the sweetest outfits and bows. That cooling cot gave my family time to go buy an outfit that was perfect for Heidi, and it gave me time to be her mom. I was able to dress her, I held her, we read her books. My husband held her and slowly swayed her back and forth in the hospital room. Fathers dream about the day that they will dance with their daughter at her wedding. My husband will never get that moment. But because of that cooling cot, he was able to dance with his little girl once, right there in that hospital room. We were also given time to make the incredible, difficult decisions about funeral homes, whether or not we would move forward with an autopsy, and time to begin processing the shock of realizing we would not be taking home our baby. That cooling cot allowed us to be parents, even if it was only inside of a hospital room. When the time finally came to leave the hospital, I hugged Heidi for the very last time. We were able to say goodbye on our own time. Before we left, we were given a memory box with her footprints, handprints, a lock of her soft hair, and the blanket she was wrapped in when I first held her. I didn't get to take Heidi home, but I was given the chance to love her, to hold her, and to be her mom for 2 days. 2 days may not sound like a long time, but when it's the only time you will ever have with your child, it becomes everything. Heidi had the cutest little chin. She had big feet and soft cheeks. She was beautiful. Because of that time, I was able to memorize her face and make memories with her. Those memories validate the fact that I am her mother and she is my daughter. Heidi's story is one of negligence and heartbreak, but she is my baby and she is perfect in every way. And the memories I have with her are what keep me going. The time I had with Heidi has shaped my life in ways that I never expected. Since then, we welcomed Heidi's little brother into the world, and I will make sure that he knows he has a sister in heaven. In the midst of my grief, I founded Heidi St. James, a nonprofit working to change how baby loss is cared for in Louisiana. Through this work, I learned something heartbreaking. Many families in Louisiana are not given the time that I had with Heidi. Some parents are only given a few hours with their baby. Some parents are told that their baby will be placed on ice packs. Some families will never receive photographs. Some families leave the hospital without keepsakes like footprints and handprints. Many nurses are never trained in how to care for families who experience the death of a baby. Instead of compassion and guidance, some parents are met with confusion, silence, or even worse during the most devastating moments of their lives. Grieving parents should not have to race against time to say goodbye to their baby. Heidi deserved time. Every baby does. Angel's Law helps that. This bill will ensure that hospitals have access to cooling cots and bereavement resources so families are not rushed in saying goodbye to their baby. This bill does something very simple. It gives families time to hold their baby, time for their family to meet them, time to make memories that will last the rest of their lives. The day Heidi died, I was given that gift of time, and today you have the power to give that same gift to every parent in Louisiana. Thank you.
Thank you. Have we adopted the amendment yet?
We have not. No.
I'm going to go ahead and...
I make a motion to adopt amendment number 653. Is there any objection to that motion? Seeing no objection, the amendment is adopted.
I can say this, working with Kristi, we've gotten calls from many other states that are watching this bill work its way through the process and figuring out how it's going to work. And so obviously Texas did this last year. We appreciate them and their lead. But Louisiana's in the spotlight when it comes to how we're gonna enact this legislation, and so I'd wish that obviously this committee supports that, which I'm sure we will.
Senator Cloud, I forgot the system isn't working. I'm trying to push a button.
Okay, I'm on. Thank you for your vulnerability, being here today and sharing your story with us. It's very hard for all of us to keep it together and listen to your story. I want to talk to the author about the financial part, but your daughter never knew sin. She never knew sin. How many parents long to know that their children made it to heaven? And the Bible says that to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord, and she never knew sin. So you know where she is, and you and your husband just have to get there now.
Yep.
That's a beautiful, comforting thing to know that. The logistics of like implementing it. I mean, that's where your hurdle's going to be, is, funding this thing. I looked at the fiscal note, and I sit on, we have to figure it out.
Yeah.
We have to figure it out.
So I think there's, and thank you for bringing that up, Senator Cloud. I think there's ways that we can perhaps write in language to do away with the fiscal note altogether.
I think so, too.
Because of the many foundations that exist out there where these hospitals are these beds are being donated.
That's what I looked. I saw Texas put up $5 million to enact this. But looking at, this is the compassionate people we have across Louisiana, the foundations and the donors that would be willing to put up private money to fund this. I think that is completely plausible.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on eliminating the fiscal note, and then it becomes a non-issue. So.
That's right. And thank you. And I'm sure that serving on finance, you can help us kind of take the lead on that. But I do think that there's a way to get rid of it and to acknowledge that we're obviously in a different financial position in Louisiana than they are in Texas. And so if there's a way that we can work around that.
Yep, I'm here. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Chairman, the board is clear. Oh, Senator Hodges.
I want to just say thank you, Senator McMath, for bringing this bill. And I'm so sorry for your loss. I have experienced that for a grandbaby. And I was with my daughter-in-law when she was 20 weeks and went into labor. And I was born. And we weren't given any time to spend with the baby. She just said, they came in and said, your baby didn't make it. And my son was overseas, so he wasn't there. And we were just like in shock. And they said, well, you got to plan a funeral. And when did this, I was unaware that these cooling cots existed. And I don't know what hospital you were at, but it's phenomenal that they gave you that time with your baby, because we weren't given any time. It was just taken away. And when was this implemented?
The cooling cots and the carrying cradles?
And where the policy, or hospitals, we were at Woman's, and we were not offered any time with the baby at all. So that was 20 years ago. I'm just wondering when things changed, because it is so phenomenal that you guys have worked towards this to give parents a chance to be with that baby.
So many facilities throughout our country have received these devices within the last 8 to 10 years. And it's kind of taken up speed of different places finding out, this is really the compassionate care that families want, like your story. People want the time. They want time to see and hold and take the pictures and do all of the things. So we're very thankful for what Texas has done and said, let's go ahead and make sure that every single hospital has what they need. And like Senator McMath said, if we do this in Louisiana, we've gotten so many phone calls throughout the country asking, how are you guys doing this? We want this for our state because every family deserves this.
They do. And so I guess my question, in addition to my gratitude, is, are all hospitals aware that this is important to do, to give that opportunity to the parents and the grandparents?
So certainly, like Kristi works for, and I'm proud to say, St. Tammany Hospital in Covington offers this service. She's the head of it. Women's Now, it's my understanding, actually does have these devices as well, and there are a few other hospitals across the state that do this and that are prioritizing, this period to grieve and to and to spend time with the child. And so it's happening already, but this bill, I think, will further encourage and to where any NICU or any
maternity unit. That
unit will be required to have these.
And, what also it does for us throughout the state, it brings awareness. And I'm so thankful for Dr. Griffin being an OBGYN, having a partnership, knowing that, women's health is very important. And it's important for everyone to understand how often miscarriages are happening, stillbirths are happening, infant deaths are happening, and how are we taking care of that family unit for their future? So once that thing happens that's so horrible, are we getting the compassionate care after and making sure they're getting the mental health resources that they need? Because when we walk through something so traumatic, families need to be able to find a counselor, be able to talk to someone after. And so that helps, later on in life if we're making right decisions in the beginning.
Right. Well, thank you so much for doing that. And Senator McMath, thank you so much for doing this.
Senator Boudreaux for a question.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair, and thank you all for being here. This is the third day of session, and this committee sees all kind of things, and everything happens for a reason. And this really, really, really hits home. I know as I see, all the seats in here occupied, everybody can tell a story of their experience with it. For you all to come to the table and share your story. God bless you and thank you. I just wanted to follow up a little bit on Senator Cloud, and I want to first, Senator Barrow has started years and years of talking about how can we do more, and here we are doing more. I want to also thank LDH for continuing to work, and then our staff, Senator McMath. It's worded in a way to remove that fiscal burden, and as you all have identified, I don't think we're going to have a problem with people and organizations going ahead and donate that. I think what helps us with that fiscal note is that there are no punitive. We're not going to tell a hospital you have, while upon the governor's signature to become effective, you don't have 60 days for every hospital to do it. And I think in one of the sections I read, you're going to prioritize those who have the most pregnancy, the most babies. We know where we're going to go and identify exactly where we need to be. So that's going to help tremendously. And I want to thank the staff for that. I want to thank LDH, and I think somebody said it earlier. So many times we say, okay, I don't know how we're going to do this. No, we're going to figure it out, and we're going to get it done. This is important, and thank you for bringing the bill, the awareness. And I know all of the people that are sitting here that have filled out green cards can sit at that table and tell of a story that they've experienced. So we're doing what we're supposed to do for our people in the state. So I just wanted to, as a father, a grandfather, as a man, I teared up here, but it's because I'm happy that we're doing God's work. Thank you all very much for being here.
Mr. Chairman, the board is clear.
I just ask that we approve as amended.
I'm sorry?
You're making the motion?
Mr. Chairman made the motion. About 6 people seconded. Any opposition? Seeing no opposition, Senate Bill 32 will be reported as amended.
And obviously, members will be happy to accept co-authors.
Draw out the sheet, please. Are you going to your next bill, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Okay. Members, we're going to hear which one you're taking first, 29 or 32?
We can do 29.
Okay. 26, you have 26 too. Which
26 is fine.
I'm sorry, I didn't read the green cards, and some people wanted to speak, and they drove down. I'm so sorry, Mr. Chairman. Mrs. Erica Lazina, present, wishing to speak. Members, please help me indulge those who came to speak and who drove. We have Miss Abby Cantno, present, wishing to provide information if asked. Monica Briggs, present, in favor, but not wishing to speak. Mrs. Megan Duran, present, in favor, not wishing to speak. Monica Voto, present, would provide information if called upon. In support, Madison Smith, present, in favor, not wishing to speak. Heather Oliver, present, in favor, not wishing to speak. Quinn Strahl, I believe that is, Strahl. Present, in favor, not wishing to speak. Jack Hasten, present, in favor, not wishing to speak. Michelle Smith, present, in favor, not wishing to speak. Robin, I can't pronounce, Gutierrez, present, in favor, not wishing to speak. Lori Roy, present, in favor, not wishing to speak. Britton Meyer, present, in favor, not wishing to speak. Doug Duron, present, in favor, not wishing to speak. Grace Hawkins, present, in favor, not wishing to speak. Allison Stutson, present, in favor, not wishing to speak. Leon Bordelon, present, in favor, not wishing to speak. Matthew Wallace, Christus Health, present, in favor, not wishing to speak. Ben Clapper, Louisiana Right to Life, present, in favor, not wishing to speak. Grace Ostermiller, I hope I've said that right. Louisiana Right to Life, present, in favor, not wishing to speak. Tom Costanza, Louisiana Conference of Catholic Bishops, present, in favor, not wishing to speak. Jude Bordelon, present, in favor, not wishing to speak. Elizabeth P. Young, present, in favor, not wishing to speak, representing Jamie Strahl, Angels Law. There's another Donna Strahl, I believe, hyphenated name, which I can't read. Angels Law, present, in favor, not wishing to speak. Mary Patricia Ray Hospice of Baton Rouge, present, in favor, not wishing to speak. Lauren Hayden, Women's Hospital, present, in favor, not wishing to speak. Liz Mangum, Women's Hospital, present, in favor, not wishing to speak. Okay, Lauren Chauvin, ACOG, present, in favor, not wishing to speak. Pete Martinez, present, in favor, not wishing to speak. Now we have present and wishing to speak. Frankie Robinson, Mr. Chairman, if you can give her the chair, we have 3 wishing to speak. She's waving. She's with the March of Dimes. And Reverend Rodney Woods would like to speak, present and in favor. Yes, and you don't need to give up the chair. We have 2 wishing to speak. Welcome to committee.
Thank you. Thank you for having us and giving us this opportunity to share. I'm Erica Enzina with Louisiana Right to Life. And of course, as an organization, we always support initiatives that recognize the humanity of life at all stages, even when the outcomes are not what we hope for. I have to say that it is quite surreal to be here testifying on this particular bill at the moment as I'm feeling the child that I'm carrying kick, and it's both terrifying and an honor to be able to speak on this. Personally, I can testify to the need and benefit of this initiative. I'll share briefly my experience in this space to give some context to some of the other gaps that this bill would fill. There are moments burned into my memory of delivering my baby who had died in utero. For example, the nurse that ripped off the fetal monitor from the bed right before settling me in and saying, "We're not going to need that." Or the painful stab every time the lullaby came over the loudspeaker, a precious sound that I had relished in a few times before, but that just rubbed salt into a very open wound. Or the nurse who came in and reflexively said congratulations, only to quickly realize that congratulations were not in fact in order. My husband and I were fortunate that our hospital, which, to answer your question, Senator Hodges, was Our Lady of Lourdes in Lafayette, and this is in 2019. Our hospital did have a cooling cot so that we could spend time with our baby Andy, keeping his fragile body intact and his skin intact while we met and grieved in the short 24 hours that we had with him on this earth. I'm also lucky that I have many friends who reached out on my behalf to a local organization that assists with burial and healing resources before I even had the opportunity or the knowledge to do so. But I have since learned that many families do not have that luxury. They do not learn of these resources until much later after they have already incurred the expense of burial and have traveled the road of recovery and healing alone. So I think that particularly related to the Section B, and I'm sorry, I don't have the amendments in front of me, so I'm assuming these are still intact from the amendments that were adopted. The Section B subsections 1, 2, and 3, the resources that would be compelled in that section, I think, are incredibly important. Of course, the cooling cots are very important, but also training on compassionate care. And I understand and certainly would never fault the nurses who were just doing their jobs and going about the day as it normally would. But the little things, as the First Lady who testified said, it's the little things that remain with us forever and still hurt to this day. So training for hospital personnel on interaction, I think, would be enormously helpful. Of course, the cooling cots again, and then the hospital being able to identify, of course, without punitive recourse, but being able and instructed to identify healing resources and other burial resources. Sometimes are very much monetarily needed to family members, I think would be extremely helpful. So with all of that said, we would like to offer our support, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to share.
Thank you. Reverend Woods?
Well, as I think many of you know, some here with us today know, this is my 33rd year here. I've only been to one of these fables once that I can remember in 33 years. But today I felt somewhat compelled. I am a married priest, by the way, for those that don't know me. I am an Anglican. And my wife of 54 years and I have been blessed with 4 children. Most people think we have 3. Unless they speak with me, as no, we have 4. And on July 11th, 1978, Rebecca Elizabeth Wood was born into this world. She was born prematurely. And there was a great battle through that night to save her from being birthed prematurely. But at 11 o'clock, she was born on that day. She lived for 6 hours on a ventilator. And in the course of things, my wife didn't have the opportunity to see her. And she died at 5 o'clock. The age of 6 hours. And so I was the one that then told Becky, who, by the way, is also Rebecca. I told Becky that Rebecca Elizabeth was gone. So now Becky she was 26 at the time, I think. She's now 74. The pain of holding your child for a mother never ends. It does not diminish.